You've just got a brand new mini PC, but what do you do next for the best experience? I've tested hundreds of mini PCs on the channel over the years, and here are my recommendations. The first is if you're buying directly from a brand's online store or overseas retailer, is to play it safe and record the unboxing of the package in case there is any damage to the product. An easy way to prove you're in the right if there is damage from shipping or missing items. A quick look at the mini PC will be enough to see if there is any physical damage such as dents or scratches. Small imperfections are probably not worth going through the hassle of a return, but it's up to you if you're unhappy with it. Over the years, I've only seen less than a handful of units that have had a scratch or dent, and it didn't affect functionality. Keeping the packaging and even shipping box is useful in case you need to return the mini PC for warranty purposes or sell it in the future, as it has been designed to protect it during shipping. Plus, anyone buying used always prefers something complete, so the original packaging should help with resale value. And considering how little space a mini PC's packaging takes up, it's really a non-issue even if you're the type of person to throw all the boxes out. You can store the manual, VESA mount, and anything else that you're not using in its original packaging. There's little downside. This next part will depend on whether you plan to use the included Windows or install a clean version, which I'll link at the end of the video. Either way, this section isn't long and worth a watch. Once you've connected the included power supply, a display cable, and mouse and keyboard, but not the LAN cable yet if you're going wide internet, turn on the mini PC and go through the initial Windows setup process. Some minis we've looked at go straight to the Windows desktop. That's rare. Most likely you'll need to go through the Windows setup first, and when it asks to connect to the internet, skip it to use a local account instead of being forced to create or log in with a Microsoft account. If there is no way of skipping this screen, press Shift and F10 on your keyboard to bring up the command window. Click into it to be able to type into the box. Now, type the following command: OOBE/bypass NRO. Press enter and your PC will restart. Go through the setup process and you should be able to bypass the requirement for internet access. Keep going through and read the privacy options. Unless you specifically need something, just turn everything off. Once in Windows, type System Information in the search box. Check the processor matches what you purchased and you receive the correct amount of RAM. You can check the storage size by going to My PC, and in most cases there should be one storage drive. There are rare occasions when it's partitioned to two separate drives, so if that's the case, just add those two totals together. Due to formatting and other factors we don't need to go into, you'll always have less storage than advertised, but the total amount won't be far from it. Another thing you can check is Device Manager to see if everything is working properly. Right-click the Windows icon and select Device Manager. If it looks like this without any of the drop-down boxes showing yellow exclamation marks, everything is working fine. If there are exclamation marks, it's usually due to missing drivers, but can also be due to a component fault. You can right-click on the device and choose Properties to see what the problem is. If it's a missing driver, you can find out how to fix that in the Installing Windows from Scratch video linked at the end. If there's an error code, search up what it is, and maybe you'll find some potential fixes. Last resort is to return the mini PC if it's faulty. I like to try and fix something before going the return route, especially if it's just a software issue. At this point, you're good to go through the clean Windows 11 installation guide video if you want to go through with it. I left it at this stage as many mini PCs lack websites with driver downloads, so following that guide, you can grab the drivers from the included Windows install right now. Whatever you decide, the next setting you'll want to look at is Power Options. Right-click the Windows icon and select it. Balanced power mode is fine since we're plugged in and not on battery, but you can set it to best performance for a possible tiny improvement. The more important reason we're here is to set the screen and sleep settings. This is up to you, but I'm never happy with the default settings. Also, Windows will go to sleep if we leave it at the default while doing Windows updates and we're not using the PC. Sleep mode will stop updates completely until you wake it again. Very annoying. Speaking of Windows updates, that's the next thing I do to make sure there won't be any further interruptions. Well, until the next Windows update drops. Right click the Windows icon, click Settings and then Windows Update. Check for updates. With a new mini PC, there will likely be a lot of them. Once the downloads or installations are finished and nothing is happening, that's when you do the restart. Otherwise, restarting during updates will stop the current unfinished process and it will start from the beginning. After you're back in Windows, mash the Check for Updates button a few more times just to make sure there are none left, as sometimes updates show only after others have been made. Once you're sure you're up to date, we move on to the next step. If you use the Microsoft Store apps, you'll need to update them separately through the Windows Store. Why isn't this handled through Windows Update? Good question. Anyway, open the Windows Store and go to the Updates section. Next up, BIOS updates. These can provide bug fixes, additional BIOS options, or better performance. BIOS updates aren't common in mini PC land and depend on support from the brand. Updating the BIOS is a more advanced feature and can brick your system if done incorrectly, or if it's interrupted during the update by a power outage. The process of updating the BIOS is different depending on the brand, so a guide wouldn't cover the different methods. However, once you find the BIOS update for your particular mini PC model, and it has to be for your exact model, then you can usually find a document with instructions on how to update it within the download. Follow them exactly and you should be fine. BIOS updates are something enthusiasts are always interested in, but from experience working in computer repairs, almost 100% of mainstream consumers will never update the BIOS of their PC during its lifetime. So unless an update fixes a specific issue, such as mini PC instability or hardware incompatibility issues, you might want to skip it. Next up, I update graphics drivers. Windows Update does take care of this, but they're often outdated by many months. If you want the latest one, you'll need to look up the processor of the mini PC if it's integrated graphics, or the GPU if it comes with a discrete graphics card. An AMD CPU with integrated graphics can be updated with AMD's Adrenalin software, while Intel's integrated graphics can be upgraded with Intel's Arc Control, and NVIDIA GPUs can be updated with the NVIDIA app, all found on the official websites, AMD.com, Intel.com, and NVIDIA.com. If you're not sure what you've got, Device Manager will be your friend. Right-click the Windows logo and select it. Then use the drop-down for the details, specifically processors and display adapters. After graphics drivers, we can check our display resolution and refresh rate match the display. Right-click the desktop, click Display Settings, and choose the highest resolution if it isn't already. It should be in most cases. Click Advanced Display and you can set your refresh rate. Next, I'll remove pre-installed apps. This is much more common with laptops, but we sometimes see this happen with mini PCs. Right-click the Windows icon and choose Installed Apps. If you know what to remove, click More Options on the app and then Uninstall. Any apps you're unsure of can be searched online for more details. Removing bloat and personalization is up next. For this, I use Win11 Debloat. Type PowerShell into the Windows search box. Right-click, Run as Administrator. Copy and paste the command from the website I've linked in the video description. Left-click to copy. Right-click to paste. Press Enter. It'll download the Debloater and launch it. I recommend using the custom setup. For app removal, you can either tick which apps to remove manually, which will take a while, or use the quick select. Choose default apps, and then you can check if any of them you still want to keep. Once that's done, click Next. Here we can make various changes and personalize windows. Again, I recommend using the quick select default settings to start with and go from there. I like to disable all options in the privacy and suggested content. There's the option to disable AI features in common apps if you don't want that. and you can enable dark mode and disable visual effects in Windows. I use the classic Windows 10 right-click context menu. There's a bunch of other options as well. I recommend taking the time to look through them, such as aligning the taskbar to the left instead of the default center. Once you're finished, click Next, and unless you have different users, apply the changes. You'll need to restart the PC to see them all applied. Alright, now the mini PC is in good shape and should perform well going forward. Check out the links in the video description if you're buying anything from those stores to support the channel. And as mentioned earlier, you can skip a bunch of these steps by installing Windows from scratch. The video on how to do that is right here. Cheers.